Today I'm going to do my recipe of spicy shoulder lamb, or half a leg of lamb. In this case it's a half a leg of lamb. It weighs £2 approximately. Got it reduced, you see, quite a big reduction. Now this recipe is mine. I've claimed it as mine. I've got to tell you, I can't remember how I got it. But now, very often I take several recipes, look at them all. Oh, I know certain things go together, and I like to put things in that are different. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is the marinade. You can see over there, in there, there's a quick, now I say in the recipe, 4 tablespoons of ginger and garlic. You know, I think that's a tablespoon of round ginger. I'd say that's about 4 tablespoons, and some garlic. Just chuck it in, you can't go wrong. Oh, and the other thing that is in this recipe, it takes 2.5 teaspoons of chili powder, of which 1 teaspoon goes into the marinade, which is there. So 1 teaspoon of chili powder, right? And then what happens is I turn it as much as I can into a paste. Anyway, now what's going to do with that? I'll give it another chop in a minute, and I'm then going to smear the lamb, slash it with knife, and then marinate it. I'll come back to you in a bit later. Well, there's the marinade that I put on there. Now, I'm a great believer in seasoning before you roast. I'm going to put salt in the main cook, but just sprinkle a little bit of salt on this now to marinate with it. And I'm going to put that in the fridge now for a few hours, and then I'll be ready to roast it. Now what I need to do is show you this now. Again, here's an empty cup. Now into this cup goes 3 black cardamoms, a piece of cinnamon stick, 1 bay leaf, but I found an old one, so I'll throw that in as well. Cloves, 3 or 4 cloves will do. Green cardamoms, 4 of those. And then star anise, should be 2. I'll put 1 perfect one in and bits to make up the 3. Those are the whole spices. When I come to cook it, I'm going to use, I'll put in the recipe 3 medium onions. I'm going to use these 2, but the wife cut up some shallots which she didn't use. I'm going to throw those in there as well, and they'll be sliced later on. Also in the recipe will be good old turmeric, some ground coriander, ground cumin or cumin, jeera, and the remaining 1.5 teaspoon of chili powder in the end before it's being roasted. And I'll come back to show you that when I get to it. Now, we're going to start cooking. Now I'm going to cook in Remoskas. You know I like these, so I'm going to show you now. That is a standard Remoska there, and in that I'm going to roast my vegetables, which are there. And I'll put them in there to start. Potatoes, just throw them in there. I'll put the carrots a bit later on though. I won't put them in straight away, because although they can do it at the same time, these are quite small ones, so I'll put them in later. So that's going to be in there in the standard Remoska. I'll also put a bit of oil on it and a bit of salt and pepper. I'll do that in a minute. Right, here is the Remoska, and this is the beauty of the Remoska, because I'm going to fry it, and then when I'm going to fry, I'm going to then once I've done the frying, I'm going to put the lid on the oven lid, and I'm going to then cook it in this as an oven. Right, so the first thing to do then is take a bit of oil. Olive oil I suppose is healthier, but what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of vegetable oil, a tiny bit of olive oil, And I'm going to now put them in there now. These are onions I've sliced. Well, the wife sliced those and she had them left over their shallots, but they're going to go in. So that's going to go in. And these are the, let me get that a bit closer. These are the potatoes, the onions which I've sliced, as you can see. I normally do them thinner than that. For some reason I didn't, but anyway, there we go. And there. Right, that's the onions, going to be in there. And then I'm taking the whole spices now, which you can see is a bay leaf, cinnamon bark, an extra little bit of bay leaf, star anise, 2 it should be, but I've got one and some small bits which make up 2, black cardamoms, green cardamoms, and cloves. That's all in there. I'm going to fry these until the oil separates again from the bottom of it. See the oil at the bottom, when it's fried, that will all separate, get absorbed and then separate once it's all cooked. And that point of view, I'm going to then add the powdered ingredients. I'll come back to that a bit later on. The oil, to do that, you see it's beginning to separate from the product, from the thing. So I think that's more or less ready now. I'm now going to add, well, I'm going to turn off the heating on underneath now. It's going to be roasting in a minute. And I'm going to add the following. Right. 1 teaspoon turmeric. 1.5 teaspoons of chilli powder, two teaspoons of chilli, and 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, stir. Just a few minutes to work its way through. Now the other thing I'm going to use is that's what's that? Tomato puree. Tablespoon of that. Right, maybe a bit more than a tablespoon. Maybe a tablespoon will do. Right, now I'm going to get the meat. There's the meat. Now, about the meat, I should have mixed in a couple of tablespoons of oil when I did the mix as a mixture, and I didn't do that. So I just dolloped a few bits of oil on it, and I'm now going to put that in there. You can see for yourself, it looks quite nice. Now, had this been just ordinary roast dinner, I'd have added just spuds and carrots in there, done it all in one pot. But because this has got so many spices and other things on there, I didn't really fancy doing that. I thought it might be too much for the potatoes. So, the next plan now is to take that off. And now I'm going to use the Remoska, having used the Tria as a normal pot. I'm now going to put it on this. You can see it there. Put it on the stand. And now I'm going to take the oven, use that, and very carefully make it away from that hot, that's hot, that's on there, but you see that's still very hot, that one, so I've got to be careful about that. So I'm going to put it over here and plug it in. That's now on there, switch it on, and that's going to go. Now I'm going to put that, I reckon, because it will be about medium will be 25 minutes each, I think, pounds, so that'll be 50 minutes, but I like mine a bit better than that. So that would go for about an hour, but initially I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes. And the reason is, there's the potatoes, I'm putting them on, and the potatoes normally take about an hour and all. But what I'm going to do is 30 minutes, I'm going to check everything. I'm going to put the carrots in there. So, we're using the modern technology. Alexa, set alarm for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
There you go. It's gone. And I haven't looked at this yet, so you're with me for the first occasion. Let's see. Well, that's cooking nicely. So we'll leave that on there. Now, what you've got to do with the Remoska, of course, is that if it gets too dark or you're worrying about it, you can put a piece of, where is it? Oh, it's gone. I had some silver foil somewhere.
Oh, it's here.
Yeah, silver foil like this, over the top there, to stop it burning. But of course, with this lamb, I like the barbecue look, and even if you did it in a real oven, I'd suggest you finish it off in a grill, just get those little burnt bits. But anyway, there we go. Right, and here's the spuds. You see they're coming along quite nicely. But what I'm going to do is now I'm going to add the carrots. And move them around. Let's see. There, I'm just may turn over, my spatula's gone. Alright, I'll just turn over the spuddies. Yes, spud's coming along good, look at that. Come on, spud. Right, that's all turned over. I'll set the alarm now again using the latest technology. Alexa, set alarm for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
Yeah. Now the temperature of that meat, let's have a look. Medium, I'm told, academically, it's 170, 180 degrees. The temperature of the lamb to be medium, but I don't think for this sort of meal having it medium is a good plan. I think it's better to have it well done, like on a barbecue, because that was my plan originally. It was meant to be like a Turkish barbecued lamb. That I'm going to put the meat flaunter in there. I'm pretty sure it's cooked now. But you see, I like that little black bits of black on it, like it would do in the barbecue, which you can do in a Remoska, you know. Anyway, it's going around to show that it is well done, more than well done, I think. Yeah, top end of well done. So I'm now going to turn that off. Now, oh, before I do that, you see the juices in the end there? We'll drain some of those off, and that should be, perhaps just put on the meat if you want it. That's now off. I'll leave that while the rest of it's cooking. Let's turn the other Remoska now, see what that looks like. Well, there you go, look. Perfect roasties and carrots. I'll turn that off now. because my wife is making the beans, which may not be ready in time. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to eat now, I think. There we go. That's ready to be carved. That's ready to eat. And there's a quick microwave beans.